In a famous interstellar academy, Professor Lax prepares to teach a class about the dangerous plants from Earth, plants that many alien species find deadly. The story follows Alex, the only human student in the class, who unknowingly brings everyday Earth food that contains tiny amounts of radiation, poison, and even forbidden substances. What seems like a simple lunch turns into a chaotic and tense situation, as the different alien students and security teams react in fear and confusion. The story is full of suspense, emotion, and unexpected twists. It explores how cultural differences and fear of the unknown can cause misunderstandings, and how one person's normal can become another's danger. The stakes rise as the Academy struggles to balance safety and acceptance in a galaxy full of vastly different life forms. Professor Lax's tail twitched with excitement as he prepared his first lecture at the Great Interstellar Academy. Today's subject was one of his favorites, Earth's toxic plants. It was a topic full of surprises, dangers, and wonders. He believed it would captivate his students, who came from 5 very different species. None of them understood Earth's strange plants or why humans ate some of them without harm. Lax planned to change that. The classroom was a wide, clean space with a large white wall at the front. Seats curved around the platform where Lax would speak. The air smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals, mixed with the nervous energy of waiting students. The light was soft but bright enough to keep everyone alert. Lax's pale yellow eyes scanned the room as the students entered. One by one, they came in. The Kavari were the first to take their seats. Their blue feathers ruffled slightly as they settled, eyes bright with curiosity. They wore flowing white robes made of plant fibers, delicate and elegant. The Herbani arrived next, their bodies covered in smooth, pale scales, their robes as pristine as always. 5 small Gorlaks bounded in, their green skin shimmering under the lights. The Briss, with their large spiraled horns, entered last, carefully avoiding bumping their heads on each other. Finally, Alex arrived. The only human in the room. He moved with the easy confidence of someone used to being out of place. His dark hair was messy, and he carried a simple lunch container. Sitting near the right wall, he quietly unpacked his meal, unaware that it would soon cause a stir far beyond his control. Lax smiled and started the lecture. Today, we explore the radioactive plants of Earth, he said, his voice calm but filled with pride. The large screen behind him lit up, showing a bright yellow fruit. This is a banana. He paused to watch their reactions. Some of the students leaned forward. The Gorlaks whispered among themselves. In a famous interstellar academy, Professor Lax prepares to teach a class about the dangerous plants from Earth, plants that many alien species find deadly. The story follows Alex, the only human student in the class, who unknowingly brings everyday Earth food that contains tiny amounts of radiation, poison, and even forbidden substances. What seems like a simple lunch turns into a chaotic and tense situation, as the different alien students and security teams react in fear and confusion. The story is full of suspense, emotion, and unexpected twists. It explores how cultural differences and fear of the unknown can cause misunderstandings, and how one person's normal can become another's danger. The stakes rise as the Academy struggles to balance safety and acceptance in a galaxy full of vastly different life forms. Professor Lax's tail twitched with excitement as he prepared his first lecture at the Great Interstellar Academy. Today's subject was one of his favorites, Earth's toxic plants. It was a topic full of surprises, dangers, and wonders. He believed it would captivate his students, who came from 5 very different species. None of them understood Earth's strange plants or why humans ate some of them without harm. Lax planned to change that. The classroom was a wide, clean space with a large white wall at the front. Seats curved around the platform where Lax would speak. The air smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals, mixed with the nervous energy of waiting students. The light was soft but bright enough to keep everyone alert. Lax's pale yellow eyes scanned the room as the students entered. One by one, they came in. The Kavari were the first to take their seats. Their blue feathers ruffled slightly as they settled, eyes bright with curiosity. They wore flowing white robes made of plant fibers, delicate and elegant. The Herbani arrived next, their bodies covered in smooth, pale scales, their robes as pristine as always. 5 small Gorlaks bounded in, their green skin shimmering under the lights. The Briss, with their large spiraled horns, entered last, carefully avoiding bumping their heads on each other. Finally, Alex arrived. The only human in the room. He moved with the easy confidence of someone used to being out of place. His dark hair was messy, and he carried a simple lunch container. Sitting near the right wall, he quietly unpacked his meal, unaware that it would soon cause a stir far beyond his control. Lax smiled and started the lecture. Today, we explore the radioactive plants of Earth, he said, his voice calm but filled with pride. The large screen behind him lit up, showing a bright yellow fruit. This is a banana. He paused to watch their reactions. Some of the students leaned forward. The Gorlaks whispered among themselves, eyes wide. The Herbani exchanged worried glances. Lax continued. Bananas are harmless to humans, but they contain potassium-40, a radioactive isotope. For many of your species, eating even one could cause serious harm. But humans eat them every day. The room grew tense. The students processed the idea of something so small carrying invisible danger. Lax paced the stage slowly, enjoying the effect. Humans are unique, he said. Only they can eat radioactive fruit without getting sick. Then, the unexpected happened. A sharp cry broke the silence. One of the Gorlaks pointed at Alex. Atomic fruit, the small creature squeaked, jumping up. The word spread quickly. Radioactive contamination. Another yelled. Panic rose as some students scrambled to the exits. Alex froze. In his hand was a half-peeled banana. The room felt like it was closing in on him. It's just a banana, he said softly, but no one listened. The Herbani began moving back, their pupils wide with fear. The Kavari whispered words Lax couldn't catch, but their feathers bristled. Lax's ears flattened against his skull. He had not meant to cause this chaos. His dramatic lecture had made the simple lunch seem like a deadly weapon. Now the situation spiraled out of control. He raised his voice to calm the room, but before he could finish, the classroom doors burst open. 4 Letharians stormed in wearing heavy white hazmat suits. Their reptilian forms were hidden behind glass helmets. One held a device that clicked loudly, searching for radiation. No one move, the lead guard commanded. They circled Alex carefully, poles with gripping tools extended toward him. Alex's eyes widened as they ordered him to place the banana down slowly. It's not dangerous, he said, voice trembling. It's just food. The guards ignored him. Their instruments beeped loudly, confirming the faint radioactive signal. The students pressed against the walls, watching in stunned silence. Even the Briss, usually focused only on their social games, backed away from the human. Lax stepped forward, trying to explain. This is a misunderstanding, he said urgently. Bananas have trace radiation, but it's harmless. Humans evolved to tolerate it. The lead guard shook his head. Rules are rules. Unauthorized radioactive materials must be contained. He gestured toward a clear containment box. Place the item inside. Alex sighed and carefully put the banana in the box. His shoulders slumped. One by one, the guards collected all his lunch items. The students whispered nervously, eyes darting between Alex and the security team. Lax's heart pounded with shame. His dramatic lecture had turned a simple lunch into a dangerous situation. Outside the classroom, more security arrived, bringing a large glass containment chamber. Dean Vorak appeared, his translucent body revealing his rising panic. His heart beat rapidly, and his glowing brain pulsed with worry. Is it contained? The dean asked sharply. Yes, sir, Lax replied. But it's only a banana. Dean Vorak sighed, his organs calming slightly. We've evacuated the nearby rooms and contacted the human embassy. This could become a scandal. The lead guard turned to Alex. How many bananas do you have? 3, Alex admitted quietly. They were on sale. The guard's eyes widened. 3 nuclear fruits. Alex nodded, frustration and exhaustion clear on his face. The security team began to document and secure every item in his lunch container. Bananas went into radiation-proof containers. Then came an apple, red and shiny. But the detector changed tone, warning of poison. Cyanide, a guard said. The seeds contain cyanide precursors. The Gorlax gasped. Poison. The human brought poison. Dean Vorak's internal organs reacted with alarm. His hearts beat out of sync. His brain flickered with panic. Cyanide is immediate death. Lax raised his hands again. The cyanide is only in the seeds, and only if crushed. The apple flesh is safe. The guard was unconvinced. For some species, even a bite is risky. Alex shook his head. I don't share food. It's in the student handbook. The crowd grew as other professors came out to watch. Dr. Crown from medical took notes, and Professor Zepix from mathematics showed deep concern. The debate grew heated. Finally, the guards sealed the apple in a vacuum container. Alex produced a small chocolate bar next. The detector screamed. This is theobromine, the guard said gravely. Toxic to 94% of known species. Combined with caffeine and sugar, it's extremely dangerous. The crowd gasped. Chocolate was a forbidden substance. Stories of deaths caused by it were common across the galaxy. Alex looked sadly at his candy. I just bought it from a vending machine. It was on sale. Dean Vorak winced. Commerce in biological weapons, the security chief ordered the chocolate sealed away for hazardous disposal. Alex's lunch was gone, item by item. Lax watched as the room slowly emptied, his tail dragging with guilt. Alex sat alone on a bench outside, eating bland cafeteria food. Other students avoided him. A special, human food safety zone, had been created, a yellow-taped area meant to keep others safe. Lax read the news reports over and over. His first lecture had sparked a galactic panic over radioactive fruit, poison, and forbidden sweets. The Academy debated separate facilities for humans. Lax had not lost his job but was forced to attend sensitivity training. His dramatic flair was gone, replaced by dull, dry lectures. Yet one message on his data pad caught his attention, from Alex. The human thanked him and invited him to guest lecture in a new study group about Death World food safety. Alex promised to leave the bananas at home. Lax's whiskers twitched in surprise. Maybe there was a way to balance facts with engagement, to teach without panic. Outside the window, the academy bustled with life. Different species learning to live together, one step at a time. The days after the lunch incident were strange and tense. The academy buzzed with whispers about the nuclear fruit and the toxic lunch. Some students avoided Alex, still shaken by the fear and confusion. Others were curious, asking questions quietly in the halls. Alex tried to keep his head down, but the weight of unwanted attention pressed on him like a heavy fog. Professor Lax sat in his office, staring out the large window overlooking the central courtyard. He watched students of many species mingle, some still cautious, some eager to connect. He thought about the lessons he had learned, and those he still had to teach. Then came the message from Alex, the unexpected invitation to join a new study group, Death World Food Safety. The idea was simple but powerful. Instead of just talking about dangerous plants, they would teach students how to understand each other's food and cultures. It was a way to stop fear and start friendship. Lax smiled faintly and replied, agreeing to help. He stood and strode toward the courtyard, ready to find Alex and join this new effort. Alex was sitting on a worn bench, carefully unwrapping a special meal from the cafeteria. His face lit up when he saw Lax approaching. "Professor," Alex said, standing up. "Thanks for coming." Lax nodded. "I'm sorry about what happened. I didn't mean for it to get so out of hand." Alex shrugged. "It wasn't just you. It was fear and misunderstanding. We both know Earth food looks strange to other species." They walked together toward the Academy's common hall. Inside, a small group had gathered, aliens of many kinds, some shy, some eager. They shared stories of the foods that made them strange or dangerous in other worlds. They laughed nervously about misunderstandings and the strange smells of unfamiliar meals. The study group became a place of learning and sharing. Lax taught facts about plants and toxins. Alex shared stories about Earth's common foods, the good, the weird, and the forbidden. They discussed how different species biology reacted to the same food in very different ways. The group grew. Word spread. More students joined, curious and hopeful. They brought their own foods, explaining what was safe, what was dangerous, and what was sacred. Slowly, barriers started to break down. One day, a Kavari student brought a bright, glowing fruit. It was dangerous to many species but a delicacy to her people. She explained carefully how it was prepared and why it was safe only if handled right. The Gorlaks listened with wide eyes, nodding in respect. Alex shared how humans prepared their foods to reduce toxins, cooking, peeling, and careful preparation. The Herbani asked questions, fascinated by the science behind it. Lax noticed how the group became more than just lessons. It was a bridge between worlds. Food was a language, full of meaning and history. Understanding that language helped students see each other as individuals, not threats. Back in his office, Lax worked on a new idea. The academy needed a formal course, something to teach cultural context along with biology. A class where students could learn the science and the stories behind the foods their friends ate. He drafted a proposal, gastronomic diplomacy. A class where food was the key to peace, not danger. He imagined lively debates, tastings, and hands-on experiments. He hoped it would be popular, and maybe a little chaotic. One afternoon, Dean Vorak stopped by Lax's office. His transparent form shimmered with a mix of relief and hope. "I've heard about your study group," the dean said. "It's a step in the right direction." Lax bowed slightly. "Thank you, sir. I believe education can prevent incidents like the lunch disaster." Dean Vorak nodded. "I'm approving your proposal. Gastronomic diplomacy will start next term. It's risky, but necessary." The news spread quickly. Some faculty were skeptical, worried about safety and controversy. Others were excited by the chance to innovate. Alex smiled when he heard. "I'll help however I can." The day of the first gastronomic diplomacy class arrived. The classroom was decorated with plants and pictures from many worlds. The smell of strange spices and cooked foods filled the air. Students from all species took their seats, eyes shining with anticipation. Lax began with a simple question: "What does food mean to you?" Hands shot up. The Briss talked about tradition and respect. The Gorlaks shared stories of survival and family. The Kavari spoke of rituals and song. Alex talked about comfort and connection. The class was alive. Stories mixed with science. Laughter blended with serious questions. They tasted small samples prepared to be safe for everyone, learning how each ingredient affected different bodies. Suddenly, the door opened, and a security team entered, alert and cautious. The class froze. "We received a report of unauthorized food items," the lead officer said. Lax took a deep breath. "This is part of the lesson. We are demonstrating safe handling and sharing of diverse foods." The officer nodded slowly, then smiled. "Good. Carry on." The class erupted in applause, celebrating a small victory. Weeks passed, and the class became popular. Students who once feared each other now exchanged recipes and ideas. The academy felt a little smaller, a little kinder. One evening, Lax and Alex sat together, watching the stars through the window. Who would have thought bananas could cause so much trouble? Alex said with a laugh. Lax chuckled. They taught us more than just biology. They taught us to listen. Alex looked at him. And to understand. Together, they knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but also full of friends waiting to be made, sometimes over something as simple as a shared meal. The new class, gastronomic diplomacy, grew quickly in popularity. Students from different species arrived eager to learn about each other's foods and cultures. The classroom buzzed with excitement, smells, and colorful dishes from all corners of the galaxy. Lax and Alex worked hard to prepare lessons that combined scientific facts with stories and personal experiences. One morning, Lax began the lesson by introducing a mysterious plant called the nightshade. It is known for its beautiful flowers but deadly toxins, he explained. The students listened closely as he described how even a tiny bite could cause serious illness. Alex chimed in, many earth foods, like tomatoes and potatoes, come from the nightshade family. We cook them carefully to make them safe. The students murmured, surprised that something so common could be dangerous. The Herbani nodded thoughtfully, recalling how their own plants required careful preparation. The Kavari asked questions, fascinated by Earth's complex relationship with food. After the lecture, Alex brought a carefully prepared sandwich. He explained how he avoided using any risky ingredients. The class watched as he demonstrated peeling, slicing, and cooking techniques that reduced toxins. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared through the academy halls. The classroom doors locked automatically. Confused faces turned to the door as security officers entered, moving quickly but calmly. There has been a report of a toxic contamination in the cafeteria, the lead officer announced. The class grew silent. Lax's ears flattened. Alex's eyes narrowed with concern. The officers searched the room but found nothing dangerous. Outside, chaos unfolded. News spread that a strange new plant had been found in the cafeteria's produce shipment. It emitted a faint but dangerous toxin that affected several species, causing dizziness and nausea. The academy was forced to close the cafeteria temporarily. Students scrambled to find safe food alternatives. Alex felt a growing responsibility to help. Together with Lax and the study group, he organized emergency food safety workshops. They taught students how to identify risky plants and how to prepare food safely. During one workshop, a young Gorlax named Tilo hesitated before trying a simple earth fruit. I'm afraid, he admitted. Alex smiled warmly. It's okay. We all feel that way sometimes. Let me show you. Carefully, Alex peeled the fruit and offered a small piece. Tilo took it slowly, eyes wide. Then he smiled, tasting something new and safe. The room filled with encouragement and laughter. Meanwhile, Lax worked behind the scenes to improve the academy's food supply chain. He contacted trusted vendors across the galaxy, demanding strict quality controls. He argued for clearer labels on all foods, showing which species could safely consume them. Not everyone agreed. Some faculty members worried that focusing on food safety would distract from more important studies. Others feared that alien students would refuse to try unfamiliar foods, isolating themselves further. But the students pushed back. They wanted to learn, to share, to connect. The academy leadership listened carefully, realizing that food safety was more than just a practical matter, it was a key to peace and understanding. One afternoon, Lax received a message from Dean Vorak. Excellent work on the workshops. Your leadership is making a real difference. Prepare for a special event next month, an interspecies food festival to celebrate diversity and unity. Lax smiled. The festival was an opportunity to bring everyone together. Students could share dishes from their home worlds in a safe and welcoming environment. It would be a challenge, but also a chance to heal old fears. As the festival approached, preparations began in earnest. Students practiced cooking, learning how to adapt recipes to accommodate different species' needs. Alex coordinated with food scientists and cultural advisors to ensure safety and respect. The day of the festival arrived with bright skies and warm light. The academy grounds were transformed. Colorful tents and tables stretched across the courtyard. Aromas of spices, cooked meats, fruits, and strange herbs filled the air. Students and faculty moved among the stalls, tasting new flavors and sharing stories. Alex demonstrated how to prepare a traditional earth dish safely, while Lax explained the science behind the ingredients. At one table, a pair of herbani served a glowing drink that calmed nerves and boosted energy. Nearby, a group of Bris performed a ceremonial food blessing, their horns catching the sunlight as they chanted in their ancient language. The Gorlax eagerly sampled dishes from other species, their green skin shifting through colors of delight and surprise. The Kavari shared songs about food's role in their culture. For the first time, fear of strange foods melted away, replaced by curiosity and friendship. Suddenly, a child, half human, half Kavari, approached Alex, holding a small plate. "I made this for you," the child said shyly. "It's safe to eat, I promise." Alex smiled, touched by the gesture. He took a bite and nodded happily. "Thank you. It's delicious." The festival ended with a shared meal under the stars. Lax looked around at the gathering, his heart full. What had started as a simple lecture about toxic plants had grown into something greater. It was a lesson not just in biology, but in empathy, trust, and unity. As the crowd slowly dispersed, Alex and Lax stood together, watching the stars twinkle above. "We've come far," Alex said softly. Lax nodded. "But the journey continues." The weeks after the food festival were filled with new challenges and opportunities. The academy had become a place where different species not only studied side by side but began to understand each other better through shared meals and stories. However, old fears did not vanish completely. Some students still hesitated to try unfamiliar foods. Some whispered warnings about hidden dangers. And there were occasional incidents where someone accidentally ate something harmful, causing panic and mistrust. Lax and Alex knew they had to keep working to build bridges. They expanded the gastronomic diplomacy course to include hands-on training in emergency response and cultural sensitivity. They invited experts from medicine, psychology, and xenobiology to speak. One day, a new student arrived at the academy, Yara, a young Faruvian slime mold specialist. Her kind was rare and mysterious, known for their unique biology and connection to toxic environments. Yara carried with her a small container filled with glowing spores, an ingredient used in her people's traditional dishes. In class, Yara carefully explained the properties of her spores. "They are toxic to most species," she said softly, "but essential for my culture. We prepare them with great care." The students listened attentively. Alex nodded, impressed by her knowledge and bravery in sharing something so strange and potentially dangerous. Later, Yara approached Alex and Lax. "I want to help the food safety group," she said. "My people have much to teach about living with toxins." Together, they worked on new safety protocols that included rare and unusual ingredients. They tested preparation methods and developed guidelines that respected cultural traditions while protecting health. Meanwhile, the Academy's cafeteria introduced new menu options inspired by the gastronomic diplomacy class. Chefs learned to prepare dishes safe for many species, using fresh ingredients and clear labeling. The human food safety zone was expanded and redesigned to feel welcoming rather than isolating. One afternoon, during a practical exam in the class, a student accidentally dropped a small vial of a toxic liquid. The room fell silent as the fluid spread slowly across the floor. Alex reacted immediately, signaling the class to back away. Lax grabbed the emergency kit and followed the protocols they had taught. The spill was contained quickly, and no one was harmed. Afterward, the students discussed what had happened. They praised the quick thinking and teamwork that prevented a disaster. The incident became a teaching moment, reinforcing the importance of preparation and calm in emergencies. At night, Lax and Alex sat in the quiet of the academy library, reflecting on the progress they had made. "It's amazing how much food can teach us," Alex said. "Not just about biology, but about trust and respect." Lax smiled. "It's true. In a galaxy this big, food is one of the few things that connects us all." Their conversation was interrupted by a message from Dean Vorak. He requested their presence in the administrative hall. When they arrived, the dean greeted them with a serious expression. "We have received a request from the Galactic Council." He paused, then continued. "They want to hear about your gastronomic diplomacy program. They see it as a model for other institutions." Alex and Lax exchanged surprised looks. The council was the highest authority in the galaxy. Their program was about to gain attention on a much larger scale. Over the next weeks, they prepared a detailed presentation. They gathered data on improved student relations, reduced incidents, and positive feedback. They included stories from students who had overcome fear and prejudice through shared meals. When the day came, they spoke before the Galactic Council's representatives. The hall was vast and filled with species from countless worlds. Lax's voice was steady as he explained the science, while Alex shared personal stories of cultural exchange. The council members listened intently. Questions came fast and varied, from safety concerns to potential expansion. Alex answered with honesty and warmth. Lax spoke with authority and passion. At the end, the council voted to support the program and encourage other academies to adopt similar courses. They praised the work for promoting peace and understanding. Back at the academy, news of the council's support spread quickly. Students celebrated, proud to be part of something meaningful. But with recognition came new pressure. Lax and Alex faced increased scrutiny and higher expectations. They knew the work was far from over. One evening, as the academy grew quiet, Lax and Alex stood under the stars once more. "We've changed a lot," Lax said. "Yes," Alex agreed. "But we still have much to learn." Lax smiled. "And teach." Together, they looked ahead, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy would bring, armed with knowledge, courage, and a shared meal. The Academy's new role as a leader in interspecies food safety and cultural understanding brought many changes. Students from distant worlds applied in greater numbers, eager to learn not only about science but also about the delicate art of living together. Lax and Alex found themselves busier than ever. Their gastronomic diplomacy class became one of the most popular and challenging courses offered. Guest speakers arrived regularly, chefs, diplomats, scientists, all bringing new ideas and flavors. One morning, a mysterious package arrived at the academy. It was addressed simply, "For gastronomic diplomacy." Inside, they found rare and unusual ingredients from across the galaxy. Some were beautiful, others dangerous, and a few outright forbidden. The package came with a note, "A challenge for your next lesson, explore the unknown with caution and respect." Lax smiled.